everyone, and a really warm welcome to everyone who is joining us today for our live student life session. So we are here today and we are going to be with you for the next hour just to chat through what studying at Glasgow is like from a student perspective, which is the most important perspective. Our lovely panel will be covering topics such as clubs and societies, accommodation. They'll be giving their top tips for making the most of your student experience as well. So a really nice range of topics that we'll be covering today. If you are watching this live on our website, you can ask us questions through the text chat, and colleagues behind the scenes will be happy to do their best to answer these questions for you as well. So obviously I've just dove in, but I've not actually said my name yet. So just to introduce myself, my name is Alice and I work here at External Relations at the University of Glasgow. And I'm delighted to be joined by our lovely panel today. So I'll just go to each person individually. Jasmine, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Hi, my name is Jasmine. I'm a postgraduate student from Nepal and I'm doing Masters in International Business.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Jessica, I'm coming to you next.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm from Texas. I'm a postgraduate student doing the MLit in Film and Television Studies.
Perfect. Thank you, Jessica. And last but not least, Shounak, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Shounak and I'm a postgraduate student studying Masters in Biotech and Management. I'm from Mumbai, India.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you again for joining me. It's going to be a really great session today. So I'll just kick off with some questions for the panel. So at Glasgow, we really do have a very diverse student body with international students who join us from all over the world. And I think we can see that from our panel today as well, which is fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is like to move to Scotland and to settle in Scotland as well, and what it's like to move here? Jasmine, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, thank you. So I think the saying that people make Glasgow is definitely true. When I first moved in here, I was really worried about making friends, being homesick, and even the weather, because like Scotland is known for their weather. But coming here was a completely different experience than I had imagined. The Freshers Week was definitely the highlight. And there are so many things to do, so many clubs to join. You're always busy, you're always going around. And most importantly, you always feel welcomed. Other than that, what I like the most about Glasgow is the people here. I live near like botanical gardens. So whenever there is like light outside or any hint of sun, you can see like people going to the parks, old people, children. And it's just a very, very friendly environment and overall a very peaceful place to live.
Oh, that's so nice to hear, Jasmine. And we're coming into the lighter nights, so you'll be able to go into the Botanic Gardens much more now that we're through the winter. Jessica, can I come to you with the same question? What was it like to move to Scotland and how did you find settling in?
Yeah, I was also, like everyone, really concerned about, I've never lived away from home before, moving to a completely new place, being from Texas, worried about the weather. And it was so welcoming. Like from the second I got here, just everyone being in taxis, like taxi drivers, like people in shops, everyone's incredibly friendly. Actually starting, university, other students, the professors, everyone. It's really, it's none of my worst case scenarios ever came anywhere close to happening. It's been completely ideal with how welcoming and how friendly it's been here.
Oh, that's so nice to hear, Jessica. And it's nice to know that you're coming somewhere where you feel welcome straight away. Shounak, I'm going to come to you with the same question. How did you find settling in?
So firstly, I was very excited as an international student moving here in Glasgow, and I was literally counting the days when I would move in and experience all the activities which I had visualized and read online on the university's YouTube channel and the website as well. And basically, when I came in over here in the month of September, the temperature was quite cool and pleasant. I could easily manage off with a sweater or a hoodie during the month of September. And apart from that, I was engrossed in activities like arranging the room, shopping for personal items like clothing and bedding, registering with the GP, applying for the NI number, collecting the VRP, and also opening a bank account. But yeah, and as Jasmine has mentioned, people make Glasgow, and I really experienced that over here because the people are so kind and helpful. and that really makes your experience much more nice.
Oh, no, that's so brilliant, Shaunak. A lot of you have touched slightly on the weather in Glasgow, and it's good that you have got used to it. And there are kind of changeable days in Glasgow, but it's something to experience for sure. Just moving on to my next question now. How did you feel supported by the university on arrival, Shaunak? Did you feel supported when you arrived here at Glasgow?
Yeah, absolutely. I did feel supported, and I feel that it is one of the major things that helps students get adjusted to the environment with ease. And one of the major things when you come over here is firstly collecting your BRP. And the university had emailed me 5 or 6 days prior to it, uh, giving me a list of all the documents which I need to carry. And apart from that, the university had also organized welcome fairs where we were given free coupons and free pizzas as well. And for sports enthusiasts like me, I was rooting and eagerly waiting since the day of my arrival to play cricket in Glasgow. So I also got to interact with the Glasgow University Cricket Club during the sports fair. Also, we had the academics sessions arranged, the induction sessions for us, where we got a chance to meet with our dean and then share our thoughts, ask questions related to the academic year. And finally, we during the month of September at the uh, end, we also had a careers fair where we got to interact with clients and industry professionals, got to ask questions, got to know about the various job opportunities which are available after completing our graduation. And I will definitely recommend other students who are going to join in next year to attend this career fairs because it gives you a really great insight of how things will be after your graduation.
Thank you, Shaunak. And it's good. It sounds like you have made the most of all of the kind of support services that we can offer, and a free slice of pizza. Who doesn't love that? But yeah, just to add, you've already covered it so well, Shaunak, but we do at the University of Glasgow, we do have a whole range of support services for our students. And this is really to ensure that you feel supported from the moment that you arrive at the University of Glasgow and in the city of Glasgow. So along with our international student support team, who provide kind of visa and immigration advice as well as an orientation programme. We also have our disability service as well, and we have a counselling team who are on hand to help anyone who's looking for a little bit of that additional support as well. We do have our student learning development and our career service, which Shaunak obviously had mentioned, who can help with advice on finding part-time work as well as providing the tools that you will need to help to reach your future career goals. And in our Fraser building, which is on campus, it's a blue and green building, I'm sure you all know it, you'll find the student support service, the student services inquiry team, who can help with a range of inquiries on arrival, as well as the registration kind of process. The enrolment support team as well are in there. And so within each subject area of whatever you might be studying, we do have dedicated student support officers as well. They will be your first point of call for any issues that you're facing. And we also have a fully trained peer wellbeing support team who are always around to listen and just provide some extra support where they can. So lots going on in terms of support. That's the main thing to take away from this section. But we'll move on to the next question. Today, there will be kind of separate accommodation sessions that are taking place during the event. But it would be really interesting to find out from a student perspective of how you find your own experiences in securing accommodation at the University of Glasgow. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about if you're living in private flats or if you've got student halls, or what your experience has been like with that as well? Jessica, I'm going to come to you first on the accommodation question. How are you finding accommodation? Are you in private accommodation, student accommodation? Let us know.
So I'm in a hall that's it's one of the halls that's partnered with the uni. It's called Bridge House, and it's wonderful here. Like, honestly, the management team they're super lovely. The room's great. The location is phenomenal. I think this one, and then I think it's Kelvin Grove is like a 7-minute walk for me. And they're so centrally located. Like, I'm walking distance from everything. And coming from a place that's very car like centric, you have to drive to get everywhere. It's really just great being able to walk to the uni, be able to walk to the shops. There's a Morrison's and two grocery stores. That's like a 10-15 minute walk. So the location was very much a selling point for me. Especially when you're moving somewhere sight unseen, just like looking on Google Maps. So yeah, I'm in Bridge House and really recommend it. Location, management, it's all really great. And it's whenever you go to look for housing, it's one of the ones that's on the uni website because it's one of the ones that's like uni owned and like partnered with them. So applying for it and getting it, it was all really easy. And yeah, it's great here.
Oh, that's so fantastic to hear, Jessica. It's always nice when you're going somewhere new that you've got somewhere that feels like home when you are away from home as well, especially as you were saying, if you're doing it via the internet and you've not actually been to that place before. So well done you managing to secure that good accommodation. Jasmine, I'm going to come to you next with the same kind of question. Can you tell us if you're living in private flats, student halls, how you found kind of going around getting accommodation in Glasgow?
So I am living in student accommodation. I'm currently living in Winton Drive, and I applied for the student accommodation after I got my offer. I chose student accommodation because like finding accommodation here is kind of difficult, especially when you're like international student. A lot of like websites can be unreliable, and you don't know if like you can trust them with the money you're sending from internationally. So because of that, I chose student accommodation, and they gave me the offer pretty quickly. So it was a really smooth. I live with like it's a shared accommodation with 4 flatmates. The university is like 20 to 30 minutes walk, and the stores are like 10 to 15 minutes away, but I like walking, so it's a plus for me. And it's near Botanical Garden, so you get to see it every single day. And although it's a bit far, I think, from other places, I got to meet one of my best friends there. So I love it. And you have a lot of different games nights and events that are hosted by them. So it's always fun to meet new people. And I think if you're arriving here, staying at uni accommodation can be really easy and a convenient way.
Perfect. Thanks, Jasmine. It's nice to hear that you're all getting involved in kind of games nights and stuff like that. And I think accommodation, as well as other parts of the university, is a really great way to make your friends when you're there. So it's fantastic that you've met kind of people through that way as well. Shounak, last but not least, I'm coming to you. What has your experience with accommodation been like at Glasgow?
Yeah, so I currently live in Mackley Residences, which is a student accommodation, and it takes about 15 minutes to reach the uni if you're walking. And if you have a cycle, then you can easily reach within 5 or 7 minutes. Apart from that, it's a lovely area. I really love the architecture and the design of the accommodation. And I'm someone who loves to stay in quiet areas, and so that there are less number of distraction. And this is a particular place I was looking for when I came in Glasgow. Apart from that, there are various grocery stores like Lidl, Poundland, and Tesco, which are in close vicinity to the accommodation. So you just have to walk for about 15 minutes, and you can get your entire grocery for the particular week easily. Apart from that, even the res life over here at Mackler Residences are very warm and welcoming. On the first day when I arrived in Glasgow, they greeted me with a wide smile and wished me well for the stay at Mackler Residences. They also shared a brief about the events which are going to be conducted in the particular month. Mackler Residences has various events being conducted, which includes movie nights. Sometimes they arrange potluck as well. So it's a great opportunity to meet new people and interact. And surprisingly, I this particular accommodation wasn't on my list of preferences when I had submitted to the uni. But later on, I got to know that this should have been my first preference as compared to the others which I had opted for.
That's brilliant, Shaunak. And it's good to hear that it's worked out well in terms of how you found the accommodation. And even though it wasn't in your top choices, it's still a really good option. You've definitely been timing yourself on that bike. 5 to 7 minutes is very specific. So you've obviously had some 7 minute days and some 5 minute days, but much quicker on a bike than I would be, for sure. We've kind of touched on it just from some of your kind of answers there, everyone, of kind of making some friends when you're at accommodation. This is a question we get a lot of questions around, so making friends in Glasgow. Jessica, I actually understand that you made friends before you arrived. Is that right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So after I received my offer, I got an email from the uni about joining the app Unibuddy and the offers holders group on there. So I downloaded the app, and it's partnered with the uni, so you like sign in that way. And there's like the larger offer holders community, and then you can search for your specific program if you want to find friends that are in your program. There's all different, like you can make your own groups on there. So there's like student made groups. I actually got a message from a girl saying that she was putting together a group of incoming postgraduate American students, and like sent me a link and was like, hey, if you want to join, like I made a group. Joined the group. It moved off the Unibuddy app to like an Instagram DM, which then eventually became a WhatsApp group. And it eased my anxiety so much with moving here, because obviously I was terrified about, not having like a sense of community, not having friends. But in the months leading up to moving here, because I think I got the email about the offer holders community in January. So I got accepted in October, and then I got the email about the app a few months later. So did that immediately. And so then I had months and months before I even actually had to get on a plane, where I could talk to other incoming Americans. And it was great for any like questions that we had. Like some people had more information about things than others. Some people had studied abroad before and had more experience that they could offer, talking about what to pack, like just having like a group of friends before I even actually arrived here. And then the girl who originally messaged me about joining the American group chat ended up being like my next door like roommate in like the shared accommodation that I'm in. Another one of the girls is like 2 doors down. And like, I mean, we hang out all the time still. They're still my friends here. One of my closest friends here I met that way. So it was just so great to already have like a community and a group of friends that I could, whenever I got here, go to IKEA and buy, home supplies, go do my first grocery shopping with. None of the like arrival, tasks that can seem so scary and daunting. I didn't have to do any of them alone, because I already had like a group of friends like getting here. So yeah, really recommend if you get an offer and you get the email about the Unibuddy app, really recommend downloading that and trying to make some friends that way.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like such a lovely experience, and it sounds like the plot of like a nice friendship film when you're talking about her just being down the corridor from you as well. It's really nice. That's what you're saying, of like being able to do these daily things with like a friendship group. And you always need to remember that people are all in a similar situation to you. So taking these opportunities as early as you can is a really good step to do. As Jessica mentioned, everyone who receives an offer from us will receive an email invitation to join that offer holders community that Jessica was talking about. So this is the online forum that allows you to join groups that suit your interests, make friends, share tips, prior to your arrival at Glasgow. Make sure you are checking your emails to make sure that you've not either missed the invitation or the invitation might still be coming your way. So make sure that you keep an eye on your emails for that, because you can hear how well that worked for Jessica, and it seemed like a really nice kind of opportunity to make friends with similar interests to you as well. So kind of going on to the next question, everyone. So for those who are tuning in who have never studied a master's before, can you tell us, this is kind of more into the detail of your course, can you tell us how many hours of teaching you roughly have a week? Jasmine, I'm going to come to you first for your international business.
So I'm taking international business, like mentioned before. I actually have a very packed schedule with like classes running almost every day of the week, though not always like a full day of lectures. Each class session typically lasts about like 2 to 3 hours. And on top of that, we have like tutorials or small group sessions that deepen your understanding on the topics. So basically, you will have lectures where you are more in discussion with professors, where you discuss different theories. And in tutorials, you're having like case studies where you're going in depth regarding those frameworks, those theories, and basically having discussion with the class. So this means that you're not just attending lectures, you're also actively discussing ideas, working on problem sets, and collaborating with classmates. Even on days I might not have lectures scheduled, there is always like some group work or like independent research to be get done. overall it can add up to somewhere around 10 to 15 hours of formal teaching every week. I know that that is different for our other major as well. It really depends on what you're studying. I know that I have friends from other majors who only have like one lecture a week ish. So I think it's my major that like mostly is hectic, or like usually I think it's you will have like 3 lectures a week. So I think that's the usual norm. And master level study is designed to be immersive. So most of the free slots end up being used for reading, researching, meeting classmates for group projects. So it's busy, but it's in a like a fantastic way. It's a really nice way to get engaged with your subject and really dive deep into the materials and enhance your learnings.
Perfect. Thank you, Jasmine. It is really helpful for people because we'll have people who are looking to study all different types of masters. So it's really good to know about kind of the international business side of what to maybe expect. Shounak, I'm going to come to you next of kind of how many hours are you currently doing a week? What should people roughly expect?
So I'm currently pursuing my master's in biotech and management, and as it is a dual course, it is divided into 2 semesters. So basically, the first semester is focused on management, and in this part of the semester, the classes roughly lasted around 6 to 7 hours per week. So it was really great for me to transition as an international student. I could read the study material beforehand, and I could focus more on self study as well during that part of time. The classes were not hectic, but as I mentioned, you have to do self study properly and keep up with whatever is being taught in class. And later on in the semester 2, which is currently going on, which is the biotech sem, it's a bit hectic. Again, in this case, it depends on which particular course you are studying. So we have modules like biotech applications, bioscience commercialization, and synthetic biotech. So there are 2 core subjects which involve lab work. So we have to work for extensive hours in the lab. It can range from 10 to 5 in the evening. So you have to make sure that you balance things accordingly. But yeah, with the proper strategy and proper mindset, you can easily strategically manage your time and do rest of the things like cooking and even participating in other activities as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Shaunak. And it sounds like you've definitely managed to manage your time and timetable well if you're managing to do everything that you're just covering in that as well. Jessica, and last but not least, I'll come to you. How are you finding kind of how many hours are you roughly in a week and how are you finding it?
So right now I have about like 8 hours of formal teaching. My program, the MLit in Film and Television Studies, is 4 core classes, an optional course, and then the dissertation over the summer months. So my first semester, I had 2 classes, which some people chose to do, 3 first semester and then 2. But I decided to start out with 2 since I was, moving somewhere new and wanted to get settled. So even though it was only 2 classes, which they're about 2 hours, 2.5, sometimes 3 hours per with lecture and seminar. But then sometimes even with only those 2 classes, you'll have multiple meetings a week. And then since it's film and television, we'll have like scheduled screenings. So it's even though it's not like a ton of formal like in classroom time, there's definitely I don't feel like I'm just sitting around. There's a ton of readings, stuff to do outside of class. And then my program is also, it's a pretty small program. I think there's only like 15 of us. So we also, take the initiative to like get in groups and study outside of the class setting. This semester I'm in 3 classes. So it's 3 days out of the week I have classes. And then the rest of that time it's all, doing readings, doing the screenings, starting to work on my dissertation now. So yeah, I don't feel overworked. I don't feel underworked. I feel like I have a good balance, and definitely a good balance with time in the classroom and then independent study, which I think is what a lot of people expect from a master's, is that even though you're not, having a ton of like, or at least for my program, I know I have friends in STEM programs where it's much more intensive, but not a ton of in classroom like lecture time, but you definitely have a lot of independent readings and stuff, writing stuff that you're doing outside of the actual scheduled time. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Jessica. And I think that's right. It's kind of totally dependent on what you're studying, of what your timetable might look like. And it's nice to know as well that you can get together and do group work together, and it kind of carries on that class experience as well when you've found people that you enjoy studying with. So there's lots of different ways where you can study, but also participate in classes when you're at the university. Kind of sticking on the theme of managing time, I suppose you all sound very busy as it is. But I wondered, how feasible is it to work part-time during your masters? Would you be able to tell us a little bit more about your own experience of working during your studies? If you've managed to, if you've not managed to, it would be great to know. And Shounak, I'm going to come to you for this one first, if that's all right.
So I would say it's manageable of working part time as a master's student. Personally, I would say it was manageable for me during semester one. But in my case, I wanted to focus more on my academics, and I'm also a part of the university's main cricket team. So that takes a bit of my time of my schedule, and I also prefer cooking at home. So apart from cooking, you have to also wash the utensils after you cook. So again, that takes some time of my schedule as well. But yeah, as I got adjusted to my routine over time, I basically started to apply for part-time roles and internship opportunities from the month of Jan. And I'm grateful for the freelancing opportunity which I've got as a student content creator at the university. Also, for the other master courses, it just depends on the amount of time you dedicate. Like as a postgrad student, I think we have about 20 hours max limit of working part time. And if you have the liberty, I think you should surely enroll in some part time roles just to earn some income so that you can basically spend on items like groceries and personal shopping items. And also you can gain CV boosting skills throughout your part-time journey, and that's quite helpful as a master student.
Thank you, Shaunak. And you've mentioned my least favourite task is washing up dishes after cooking. But no, it's definitely a good way to kind of experience a lot of different things. Jasmine, can I come to you next? How have you found any part-time work? Are you working part-time? How do you find the experience?
Yes, so I have found part-time work to be quite feasible alongside a master's degree program, as long as you can manage time effectively. In my case, I'm doing two part-time. So one being content creation, which is creating social media contents for the university, and the other is telephone campaign job, which is where we do fundraising for scholarships and funding by calling like alumni. So it is usually around 8 to 12 hours per week that it takes. And since my classes are already very hectic, like I mentioned before, it definitely needs a lot of time management and like being strict with my time. But it's really helpful because both of these works are very flexible. So in weeks that I might have some deadlines, I can easily not work in those weeks and or easily take a shift from where I don't have any classes. So both of these work being flexible is a lot helpful, and because both of them are university job, it's a lot easier to manage time. And obviously when situations are not favorable, you can always tell them, and it's very easy. So although it's hectic, I actually enjoy staying busy and having a lot of things, activities to focus on. So it works for me. Plus, having a part-time that can help you build your skills is important in order for you to get graduate jobs. So I think if you can get a university job especially, it's going to be really, really helpful for you to build your CV, for your skills. So overall, I highly recommend for students to work and get extra experience. Any part-time is okay, and manage time effectively with your master's degree. I think, well, if you do that, then it's a very fruitful way to graduate. So yeah.
Perfect. You sound very busy, Jasmine, for sure. But it's good to hear of all of the opportunities. It gives you a really wide mix of experience as well, which is fantastic. Jessica, I'm going to come to you last. How feasible is it for a part-time job in Glasgow?
So I think it really depends, like as we talked about previously, like the different programs have different levels of how demanding they are. But I do find it comforting that like the student visas don't allow you to go over like 20 hours a week, which I mean, for financial reasons, not the best, but for time management and mental health, I think it's really good that that limit is in place. So even if a job wanted to schedule you more, they can't. I being hired as a content creator is the first job that I've secured since I've been here. But I do have friends who have had part-time jobs and they found it very manageable. I know especially around the holidays, tons of places are hiring. And if you just need like a little bit of money, you don't want something like super long term. I have friends who got hired just for the holiday season, and that gave them a few months to make some extra money. And then it didn't become, something that really impacted their studies or anything. It was just for a little bit. But the student job hub and like opportunity website, I'm like checking it constantly. I have emails from them. So I think it's a really good resource to see if you just want like a flexible job where you don't have to, like go into the city or really travel far. You want to be like central. The Student Opportunities Hub is always listing jobs for like on campus. And then with working for the university, because whenever I did my undergrad, I was employed by the university. So in Texas. But I think it's just really comforting to have a job where you're employed by the uni because they understand that you're a student. They understand, the visa requirements with the hours really well. They're not going to overwork you. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking out the Student Opportunities Hub for any jobs that are around the city or on campus.
Perfect. Thank you, Jessica. And I think that's it. It's like there's lots of support. Again, we mentioned the support earlier of kind of using those careers and opportunities services for any of these things that you might wish to do to find out about opportunities that are there in the job market for those part-time roles if you wish to work when you're studying. So we'll move on to the next question now, and it's around scholarships, which is always a big one for students. Did any of you receive a scholarship? And if you did, would you mind taking us through the process of securing the scholarship that you did? Jasmine, I'm going to come to you first for this one.
Yes, so I was fortunate enough to receive Emerging Asia Excellence Award Scholarship that covers my full tuition fees and also gives me a monthly stipend for my living expenses. I'm incredibly grateful for the support, and I would encourage other students to aim for similar opportunities. So Glasgow has a lot of scholarship for a lot of different countries, majors, or any specific criteria that you are eligible for. So I definitely had to apply for this scholarship. I know a lot of scholarship are like you directly get into those, but then look out for scholarship like these. They are definitely helpful since you don't have any financial burden to worry about. When it comes to the application process, it's said a lot, but a good GPA is really important and really, really helps when you're trying to secure like a fully funded or like a fully funded with like stipend kind of scholarships. But it's not the only thing you need to look out for. You should also like emphasize more on your extracurriculars, maybe work experiences or anything unique maybe that you did for your community or anything that highlights who you are as a person, and demonstrate your leadership, your passion for the subject, or your ability to follow through on ideas. It's equally important to show that you have passion or like you are really interested in the master's program that you're applying to. So I think the main important thing is you should not just say in your essays, like, these are the things I've done. Try to demonstrate your skills and passions through your achievements, linking it to show the reader or whoever is reading your application for the scholarship that they can recognize who you are as a person through your essay. I think it's also important to do a lot of research. That's definitely something I had to do. Like UK has a different way of writing essays, different way of writing scholarship essays. So do a thorough research. I also talked with a lot of alumni or students who were currently studying at Glasgow to know what the university is actually about so that when I'm writing my essay, I can provide them the similar value or I can link it. It also helps to actually connect your past experiences to your current ones or academic interests and your future goals. So in a logical way, if you can show it in a chronological order that what have you been done and what you want to do in the future, it really helps. Show the scholarship committee that you're like a worthy investment, as businessy as that sounds, like someone who is not just has like big aspirations, but also has a track record of taking initiatives, delivering results that aligns with your goals and aspirations, and bringing it a meaningful narrative. At the end, just be yourself. That's the main important thing. No matter how great of an essay you write, if it's like someone who is not you, they would know. And so it's very important to show your core on who you are in the essays. And I also had to do like interviews. So after we had like selection of selected people, we had to give out interviews. And for the interview, I would say definitely relax. It was a very chill interview, to be honest. I had like 4 to 5 panelists. They had their each questions, and the questions were, in a sense, your experiences. What have you done so far, and who has that turned you into? So like the person you've become from those experiences. And so that way you can really, really, um, it can be really helpful for the scholarships. Yeah.
No, those are such fantastic tips, Jasmine. Thank you for that. Jessica, can I ask, did you receive a scholarship? How did you find it?
So I received the International Leadership Scholarship, which is one of the ones directly from the uni, and it gave me like a £10,000 like subtraction from my tuition. It was a really easy application process. It's on the uni website. Just a normal like application form, personal statement, very straightforward. Yeah, it was really, I didn't have to do an interview with a panel or anything. It was just the personal statement. It was just all online. I would really recommend applying to as many scholarships as you can, or even ones you don't think, because I applied really with no expectation, not thinking I was going to get it. But, it's better safe than sorry. No harm can come from just trying. And then I got it. So, and it definitely gives you peace of mind to just know that your tuition is a little bit less from that. And like Jasmine was saying, researching the different like requirements for what the people who are reviewing the scholarship are looking for. Because I know, like, coming from the US, applying for scholarships and writing those personal statements, they kind of look for something different. So I made sure to do my research beforehand, like what UK universities are looking for in those scholarship applications. And yeah, just really making sure you know what they're looking for in the requirements, and kind of just applying without any expectation, and it can happen.
Oh no, that's brilliant. That's so good to hear, Jessica. And doing that research is such a main part of it as well, isn't it? Shounak, I'm not forgetting about you. Did you receive a scholarship, and how did you find that as well?
Yep, I did. I'm the recipient of the Indian Merit Award, and this scholarship is worth £5,000 and is awarded to students who have an excellent track record of academics, extracurricular activities, and co-curricular activities during their undergraduate degree, which they completed in India. And the thing about the scholarship is that it's an automatic scholarship, and the university itself reviews all the relevant documents which you have posted, and the amount will be deducted from the total tuition fees of your particular course. And as such, there's no need to fill out any form for this particular scholarships. But yeah, there are various other scholarships which are available, and you can browse through them before enrolling for a course and just go through them, just check whatever the requirements are, and you can easily apply for those as well.
Perfect, thank you, Shaunak. And that's showing the kind of full range of some automatic scholarships, some that you apply for, and some that you might apply for, but then also have an interview for. So lots to keep on top of. And we do have our scholarships database to search through for those as well. Moving on slightly from scholarships, Jasmine, can I ask, what is the main university campus like? How do you find it? Are there any best places to hang out that you can let us know about?
My favorite place to hang out is definitely the university gardens, like the cloisters. It's the charm of the university. So like anytime you're free, just go there, sit around, maybe read a book. I think that's my favorite place. For more like socialize and study, I definitely prefer JMS. So it's a very chill spot where you can like have group meetings, meet with your friends, talk, or even study. And also like GUU, which is Glasgow University Union, you can find cheap food, coffee shops there, student-friendly prices, and it's a really good place to hang out. So yeah, those are my favorite places in campus.
Perfect. And a place for each kind of occasion of however you're feeling, Jasmine, as well.
Yeah.
If you need a pick me up and have a coffee, then you know the good places in GUU to go. Just moving on slightly in terms of societies that we have. So, Shounak, I know that you've hinted and you've mentioned a couple of the societies that you have joined throughout your time at university and sports clubs. I just wanted to know, can postgraduates join these clubs and societies, and which ones would you recommend to them?
Yeah, in my opinion, clubs and societies here at the University of Glasgow are a great opportunity to meet and make friends with like minded people who share similar interests. And students can easily browse through all the clubs and societies through the university's SRC app and the SRC website as well. And two of the most popular societies at the University of Glasgow, firstly being the Taylor Swift Society, and I think people would have already guessed the second one. It's none other than the Harry Potter Society, and it's for all the Potterheads. So basically, they organize different discussions, trips, and themed events in the university itself, and it's a great opportunity for all Potterheads to come together and engage in discussions and have a chat. And apart from that, I'm personally a part of the Walking Society, the Geodesy Society, and the Harry Potter Society. In terms of sports, I am a part of the university's main cricket club. And for sports enthusiasts specifically, there are about 50 different sports clubs here at the university. Um, and you can enroll yourselves in if you have a gym membership. So there are various sports like cricket, badminton, table tennis, squash. So a number of opportunities for you. And swimming is quite popular over here as well. So if you have that particular talent and drive in you, you should definitely register for these kind of sporting activities so that you get to participate in future competitions which are inter or intra college, and that's really a great opportunity, and you can easily build your skills as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shaunak. And you're definitely making the most of the clubs and societies. There's over 300 of them, so there's always something for someone for sure. Jessica, I'm going to come to you next. What has your experience been like of clubs and societies? Have you joined any, or are you just kind of looking to maybe do it at some point?
So what I really like about them is that most of them, from my experience, there's not like a level of commitment to it. You can just show up. Like they're just open. So like there's a horror society at
a level
Glasgow.
of commitment to it.
Ooh. Oh, sorry, it started echoing.
No, don't worry. Can hear you.
But there's so I follow like the Horror Society on Instagram, and they just post whenever they're having a screening. And you can just show up. I have a friend who's in like a ton. She's in the Cheese Society, she's in the Kayaking Society, she's in a Mountaineering Society. And sometimes I just tag along with her. So you don't have to, I feel like when you say joining a society, before I came here, had in my mind it was some like, sign up sheet, like you're really committing to something. But most of them are just you come when you want to come, and if you're busy, it's like not a big deal. So, and they all have like they all post like publicly on like their social media pages or through the university channels, like when the meetings are and what's going to be happening. So you can just show up, and it's really cool, especially being a film student. There's a lot, like not just the Horror Society, but there's like a lot of different screenings and different like film related societies on campus. So it's a great opportunity to just go and, like watch a movie for free surrounded by other students. So it's really cool.
Oh, that is so good to hear, Jessica. And I think that kind of proves the kind of wide range of lots of different ones, from activities to Cheese Society. I mean, that would be the one I would join for sure if I could. So just moving on to our next question, it's more around the city of Glasgow and what the city of Glasgow is like. So how is the city? Do you find it student friendly? What are your opinions of Glasgow, basically? And Shaunak, I'm going to come to you first for this question. Basically, and Shaunak, I'm going to come to you first for this question.
Yeah, Glasgow basically is Scotland's largest city, and it's known for its friendly people.
Shaunak, I'm going to come to you first for this question. I think we're just having a little bit of an echo from Shounak. I will just ask Jessica in the meantime, Shounak, to see. Oh, hello. Hello.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. So sorry, I think we've just lost Shounak just for the moment. Jessica, I think I was talking about the city of Glasgow.
Yes.
How you find the city of Glasgow. Is it student friendly? What is it like? How is your experience?
It's very student friendly. Tons of places have student discounts that they'll advertise like outside on signs. Where I'm located next to campus, there's on Byers Road, which is like the main stretch of shops. There's tons of different restaurants and charity shops even that offer student discounts, which I love as someone who frequents charity shops and buys too many clothes. That 10% discount is very encouraging. So it's a very student friendly environment, I think, not only with Glasgow Uni, but there's other unis in the area. So Glasgow as a whole, it's very it doesn't feel like, like a college town, like what I would think of like back home in America, but it does feel very student friendly and very welcoming. With being located close to the uni, as I talked about, everything's walking distance over here. There's not like a need per se to really go into the city, but of course you want to. So the subway is like a 5-minute walk from where I live. And I also really recommend getting the subway card so you're not paying for tickets all the time, because you will want to go into the city, even though you might not need to. And that'll just save you some money. But it's whether you're over here where the uni is or in the actual city center, very welcoming, very student friendly, easy to get around with walking or the subway or buses, which I was really intimidated by moving here as someone who had no public transport back home, but really easy to navigate. Yeah, just easy to get around, welcoming, really great.
Oh, Jessica, that is so fantastic to hear. And I mean, I think the thing is you're just kind of using everything that you've got in front of you. And as you said, the student card is your best friend for those discounts. I mean, you basically have to buy those clothes in the charity shop. It's, it's not your choice anymore at that stage.
Just don't leave home without your ID on you.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, exactly. We've kind of covered Glasgow a little bit. So I'm just going to move on to the rest of Scotland, because if you're coming to Glasgow, you're coming to the country of Scotland. And so what about the rest of it? Have you travelled? Have you explored much the rest of Scotland, the rest of the country since you've arrived? Jasmine, can I ask, have you been around Scotland at all? Have you done any exploring?
Yes, definitely. When I first came to Glasgow, Edinburgh was my first number one spot. So like I went there as soon as I could. Edinburgh, you can get there by bus and train. It's really quick, really fast. It's one of my favorite places to visit. I love the museums, the castle, even Edinburgh University and the parks there. Everything is so, so beautiful. So it's definitely my top favorite place. Other than that, the Highlands are really, really famous. They are really picturesque, beautiful. You can go there with a bunch of friends, do a bit of walking, hiking. You can see like hidden waterfalls, and there are Highland cows there sometimes. So it's a really breathtaking view, and I really love traveling to Scotland. But there are other parts that I definitely want to go to, like Stirling, Aberdeen as well. So I'm waiting to make that trip happen. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good, Jasmine. And it's good. You've ticked a lot off your bucket list for Scotland, but there's still a couple of things that you want to do and plenty of time to do it. So really fantastic to hear about that. We've kind of mentioned it a little bit in terms of, I know that you were talking about your student card earlier, Jessica, but the cost of living crisis can be a really stressful time for students and something that a lot of students will think about. So I'm going to come back to you, Jessica, and ask, do you have any money saving tips for new students? Anything that you can recommend that they do?
Yeah. So again, with the student discounts, pay attention to where in town offers those discounts. There's also a website or an app called Student Beans that, like any online shopping or places, it's like partnered with the uni, and you can sign in with your uni login and get discounts from online shopping that way. I think also just being very aware of what you're spending your money on. As someone who, again, as noted, is dangerous in charity shops, just kind of like prioritizing where you want to spend your money. Like I do all my grocery shopping at Little. There is no shortage of grocery stores here at all. Like there are so many grocery stores and they all kind of vary which ones are more expensive than the others. I'm pretty sure that Little is like the absolute cheapest. But it's for no loss of like quality or anything. I do all of my shops at Little, so I can save money on food. So then I can go to the charity shops and I can travel, like Jasmine was talking about. So it's kind of prioritizing. Like if you're someone who loves to eat, that might be your main thing, and you don't care about buying clothes. But I think it's just paying attention to where your money goes, what you want to spend it on more than something else. I've also started using a budgeting app recently, which I never had to do in my life, but I was like, I need to see where my funds are going more. So which grocery stores you shop at are very, I mean, you have to eat. So shopping at Little is a big recommendation of mine. Budgeting apps and yeah, paying attention to the student discounts because there's no shortage of them. So yeah, just kind of taking all the opportunities to save money that are around the city.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thanks, Jessica. And yeah, brilliant tips for our students. So lots that you can do in terms of kind of helping save a little bit of money here and there by making certain choices. So good to hear. So it's coming up to my last question, everyone. And this is a really good one, I think, for students. I want to know what your top tips are for students who are joining us next year. Shounak, welcome back. I'm glad that the technical difficulties are over. I'm going to come to you first for your top tips for students.
Yeah. Firstly, sorry for the technical difficulty. I actually faced the problem of echoing, so that's why I logged out. So yeah, for students joining next year, I would definitely recommend you to make a list pre-hand before coming to Glasgow, like a checklist, and just make sure like you're ticking each an item after you pack it in your bags. And firstly, I'll recommend to carry good waterproof jacket and boots over here because in harsh conditions, like the winds over here in Glasgow are very, very strong. So an umbrella doesn't work in such cases. So a waterproof jacket definitely helps. And I would definitely recommend other students to connect with the current students who are here in Glasgow throughout the Unibuddy platform and ask them about the opportunities and, with relation to part-time jobs and how much they spend as students as such. And they can even inquire about job opportunities after completing their course so that you get an idea of how things are. And for all the PG2 students, I know like it can be taxing sometimes. You might also be enrolling in part-time roles in the future, but I will surely recommend you to go and explore Glasgow because it's such a vibrant city with many other scenic places. You can go for different hikes. I personally had been on a hike with the walking society myself to Dumgoyne, and it was a great place. It was a challenging hike, but it was definitely worth each and every step I took. I covered about 20 kilometers that day, but yeah, the experience was so worth it.
Thank you so much, Shounak. That's some brilliant tips that you've had for our students. Jasmine, can I ask you for a couple of top tips for our students as well?
Yes, definitely. Like Shounak has said, make a list of things you want to bring before you come here, especially invest in good rain jackets and boots. I definitely did not. I had to buy it from here, but it was still worth it. Other than that, I would say when you come here, you will have like a freshers week. You will get time to see a lot of different clubs and societies. So try to engage with as many societies and clubs as possible, because that's one way you can bond and you won't feel lonely in case you don't have any roommates or friends from class. So that's a really good way of making quick friends or like new friends. You never know, you can find your best friends from there as well. Second is like try to manage your time well. Postgraduate study can be intense, so keep a planner, have a timetable so that you're always up to you know what you're going to do. And like Shona said, again, like embrace the city. There are so many things, so many places you could go to visit, travel. There's fantastic museums, art and music, so don't miss out on those things. And then lastly, ask for help is my top tip. I think when you're moving here, you might face variety of different challenges or like difficulty problems. In any case, if you don't have support from friends or back home, then ask for the university. The university has a lot of help for international students joining in. You have international support, well-being, anything. Even like if you have difficulty in study skills or like mental health issues because you feel homesick, try to reach out to the university, take their help. It's really, really helpful.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Some great tips there as well. And kind of making the most of all of the services and the city has to offer is such a good kind of one to go with. Jessica, I'm going to come to you last. What are your top tips for students joining us next year?
So my number one tip in terms of like the weather and what to pack is, so I'm from Texas, right? So I was terrified coming here of the winter. And all I heard about was, be ready for winter and have a coat. But whenever you move here in September, it's not winter yet. So don't do what I did and only pack like your heaviest heavy duty winter clothes. Because it is nice in September. Like I had to buy shorts once I got here because I didn't bring any of my shorts. And there will be really nice days. And if you're in a program that goes over the summer, you're gonna need them anyways. So, and when it's nice out, you're gonna want, like today when it's really sunny, you're gonna want to be in the park. So don't just pack your heavy winter clothes. Also bring some lighter stuff for whenever you first get here. That's my number one tip. Number two would be if you're someone who's not used to walking with your groceries and you're coming from a car dependent place like I am, invest in some sort of like large reusable grocery bag or like a little trolley thing. Because walking back and forth with your groceries is harder than you would think. It's more taxing than you would think. So something to carry your grocery shop in. And then, like I talked about earlier, the Unibuddy app, I think if you're someone who has anxiety in general, or I mean, even if you don't, moving to somewhere new is terrifying regardless. Just utilizing the university's resources, like the offer holders community, to try and make friends before you get here will really ease so much of that anxiety and make everything so much easier once you're here and you're trying to get settled.
Perfect. Thank you, Jessica. I like how you all touched on the weather as well. You can definitely get nice weather here. The key is layering, as Jessica mentioned. Layers are key here in Scotland. So unfortunately, we're coming to the end of our session today. We're running out of time. So it's been really brilliant to have you all tuning in today. And thank you so much for doing that. For those who are watching live, remember there are still some more sessions that are running today as part of the Postgraduate online event. So there's lots to get involved with. So you can head over to our website for the links to those sessions as well. If you do have any further questions, as has been mentioned throughout this kind of panel time, has been that you can chat to a current student through our Ask a Student service. And in order to find out more about student life, you can check out our Get to Know Glasgow podcast. So we have a podcast which features current Glasgow students, which you can find on all major podcast providers as well. We also have a really fantastic selection of student vlogs and blogs, which kind of cover all aspects of student life on topics from day trips in Scotland to finding accommodation to the cost of living. There's lots for you to kind of find out on those, so please be sure to check those out. So finally, I just want to thank everyone who joined me today. Thank you, Shounak, Jessica and Jasmine, and thanks to everyone who watched, and I hope to welcome you to Team UofG in the not too distant future. Thank you all very much. Bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.